Breaking news, Doc Rivers hired to be Milwaukee Bucks head coach. Welcome to the Max Sports Attack. I'm the Mac myself, Marvin Allen Cox. Let's get into it. So earlier today, Adrian Griffin was fired by the Milwaukee Bucks, even though he has a 30-13 record, which at the time was tied for the second best record in the whole National Basketball Association. Second in the East, only behind the Boston Celtics, who arguably has the most talented roster in the NBA. His first season after they just fired Mike Budenholzer, who had helped them win a championship not too long ago. And within his first season, obviously he doesn't know the team. So I think he was doing a damn good job having a 30-13 record. What is that? 17 games over 500? Crazy to me that he got fired. They were first in points per game. Their offense was incredible. They're top 5 in points per game, top 5 in field goal percentage, top 5 in 3 points. In almost every category for offense, they were doing amazing. Now, some people were saying that defensively, that's where their problems were with Adrian Griffin. Well, obviously, he was going to take a tick lower in defense if you trade Jrue Holiday, who is one of the best defensive guards of all time. So, do we think Adrian Griffin was rightfully fired? Seems like he's done nothing wrong legally. He's had no bust-ups really with the team. And it's starting to smell a little fishy now, where after the play-in tournament or during the play-in tournament, reports are that Doc Rivers were brought in to help Adrian Griffin get more acclimated, as it was his first head coaching gig. And now Doc Rivers, the guy who was helping him in that time, is now hired to be the head coach. It's just very weird to me, man, because they said, some of the teams wasn't buying into him anymore. Some of the team was arguing with him, and the organization went to practice to see how the team was reacting to his coaching. Usually in these cases, the ownership will back the coach and tell the players to fall in line. And that wasn't happening. Instead, ownership fire him and hire a coach in less than 12 hours. So something doesn't sound right. I think it's a horrible look for the Milwaukee Bucks as a coach who is doing well, at least record-wise, is fired mid his first ever opportunity to be a head coach. What's also a bad look for the Bucks, I got a report from a friend that they are now paying 3 head coaches this season. And Budenholzer, as he's still on their books, Adrian Griffin, as they just fired him willy-nilly, and now the new Doc Rivers. Now, they did have the easiest schedule in the NBA per some of these NBA schedule ranking websites. And they are now second half of the season due to have the hardest schedule in the NBA coming down the stretch. So maybe they think that the 30-13 record was fluffed because of the easiest schedule, but who gives a shit? Winning games is winning games. And for a coach to have such an impressive record, his first ever opportunity to be a head coach, to be fired before mid-season really, because we haven't even got to the All-Star game yet, is kind of alarming. So what do you guys think about this situation? What do you think about this hire? I mean, if they have the hardest schedule coming up, I doubt that Doc Rivers is going to hit the ground running and winning a whole bunch of games in a row. So you already know if they, let's say, going like 5-5, social media is going to go crazy like, damn, Doc's making the team worse. So for the hit that they're going to get in social media, I mean, and the bad look, was it worth it? I guess you're going to say it was worth it if they end up going to compete for another championship. But as of right now, it's a bad look. But breaking news: Doc Rivers is lined up to be the next head coach for the Milwaukee Bucks. Tonight on TNT, showing the primetime games, Shaq was on the panel and he had a lot to say, talking about, he respects coaches that won championships and he believes Giannis is probably the same and he wanted a coach with more experience and that's why they lost the room. With Doc Rivers having some championships to his resume, as well as Shaq playing for Doc Rivers in Orlando, where he and Shaq went to the finals together. So they have Damian Lillard, and Shaq compares himself. He said the player he thinks is most like him in the NBA is Giannis. So you have Damian Lillard and Giannis together. So I guess in Shaq's head, maybe he's thinking is how it was for him in Orlando when it was Penny and him together. So maybe he thinks Doc Rivers can get the best out of that team. I don't know. It's just a whirlwind of information in such a quick time. But Doc Rivers is now the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. What do you think about it? I think it's strange for the man to get fired mid-season. But hey, if Doc Rivers gets them over the hump, which we all know Doc Rivers has not had good records recently, blowing 3-1 leads. And a lot of people were saying he needed to hang it up because he can't win anymore. So Doc Rivers has a point to prove as well. But let me know your thoughts. Doc Rivers, head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, in a whirlwind of a day where they fired Adrian Griffin mid-season.